Welcome to the Global Wellness HQ family of podcasts. We are your international headquarters for resources and ideas and insight in relation to the 9 elements of holistic wellness. Join us as we interview local and international wellness experts and learn how you can implement and improve one element or dimension of wellness at a time. Our experts will share their practical tips on wellness in one of these core areas: emotional, intellectual, occupational, physical, environmental, financial, spiritual, social, or habitual. We created our family of podcasts as a resource for anyone who is looking to integrate the 9 elements of holistic wellness into their daily lives. Welcome to the show. The Global Wellness HQ family of podcasts is proudly sponsored by the Global Wellness HQ community. It's an online membership group where we meet, we share ideas, we share insights, and we all work together and help one another discover our own personal wellness journeys. If you'd like to join us, you can easily click the link below or scan the QR code, and we love hearing your stories. So we hope to see you in the community. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited. Today we have Bobby Aldridge with us, and Bobby is here on behalf of BAM Metrics. So, Bobby, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into why you started BAM Metrics.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bobby Aldridge, and I've been a strength and conditioning coach for 30 years. I graduated from the University of San Francisco, got my first certification from one of the, it's called CSCS, Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, and I started training. And the first 2 years, I was the smartest guy out there. I knew everything. I was the trainer, right? And then 30 years in the business now, I know I'm not the smartest guy, and there's always something else to learn. And what I've tried to do over the last 10 years is make it easier for my clients and patients to try to move better and feel better so they can just enjoy life. And I've come up with a pretty simple way to do this with a mat, blocks, and bands that I've invented. And it just makes you feel great. And through all the years, I literally in the last 3 months ran into a lady who was the wife of the doctor for the San Francisco Giants, and she had back pain for 9 months. And so I had 2 sessions with her. I saw her on Wednesday. I saw her the following Wednesday. And in the third week, she went out and shot her lowest round of golf ever, feeling great. The next day, she played again. She shot her lowest round again. And she calls me and says, Bob, I'm feeling great. I have no pain. It's the first time ever. I've played 2 days in a row. I'm excited about this. And again, this stuff's super simple. So the funny part is, in that fourth week, the doctor calls me and says, hey, I want to come over and see what you're doing. And he's now coming over to see me. And I mean, I have hundreds of stories of different things that have gone on. And it's not because I'm a genius. I've just really, really made this simple and repeatable. And you don't need a trainer there to do this. Once you understand what you're doing, I have videos that'll teach you this stuff and help you with this stuff. And literally, if you just did 12 of these movements, okay, a week, you would start feeling better. And that's what my goal is with just getting the word out and sharing it with people. And that's what I'm excited about today, Jeff. So I don't know if that gave you enough information.
I love it. And for the record, I think that's, a lot of people have these hang-ups about, personal trainers and things like that. And, I'll admit I've been in a couple of gyms where, the personal trainer that is going to help me is slightly older than my son. And I'm like, I'm not sure you have enough wisdom, I honestly, I don't trust anyone who doesn't creak a little when they move. I mean, it's, a different body when you're 50 plus than when you're in your 20s. So I love the fact that, you bring wisdom to this. But at the end of the day, it is, the term biomechanics sounds so clinical, but the body is really just a series of levers and pulleys. And if we figure out how to optimize those, I'm guessing that's where a lot of your results come from, is optimizing the way the joints move naturally.
This is one of the things I was trying to explain is but before COVID, I was down working with Todd Durkin, and Todd's one of the top trainers out there, worked with Drew Brees, that he played for the Saints football. and he works with all NBA, NFL guys and that sort of thing. So long story short, I trained his trainers. He had 17 trainers. I trained them. And he said, Bob, can you stay the next day and help me with my baseball players? So he had 8 guys showing up, guys that played for the Yankees, Baltimore, all the top teams at the time, Astros. And I taught these guys in 2 hours, just 4 of my simple moves. And do you know that not one of these guys had ever done any of these moves? Okay. They had done medicine ball push-ups, but they hadn't done medicine ball push-ups the way I did it. They had done the pal off walkout, but they had never done it the way I taught them how to do it. And it wasn't about more weight. It was actually about changing basis support, positioning, and things like that. And because of my mat, it makes it simple for people to repeat these exercises with what I want. I want your feet 1 box apart, 2 box, 3 box apart. But the funny thing is, at the highest level, okay, this is Major League Baseball. These guys have been in the league for 10 years, right? 7 to 10 years, every player that was there. And they hadn't done these moves. So good for a weekend warrior, good for a pro athlete. Now, why is that? What you just said, biomechanics. Our bodies move the same. Now, if you've been sitting around for 40 years, it's not moving the same. You know, you've gotten more rounded. The thing is, we now work on computers and we're typing on our phones and our necks are forward. So you better do something to open that up and get your body in a better position. Otherwise, you're going to say your neck hurts, right? Oh, my back's stiff. What's going on with that? Because you're sitting all day, right? And then people are like, well, just stand up at your desk now. And it's like, no, that's going to be an issue too. I mean, if you're dysfunctional and you stand all day, well, then you're going to start telling me your knee hurts, your ankles hurt, or something else hurts, right?
Yeah.
That's just another way of changing it. So to get up and down and move, yeah, that's better than just sitting around. But like I said, these moves are simple, but a lot of people don't know about them. And there was a player, Will Zalatoris, on the golf tour. He hurt his back, and the PGA guy came out to help him. Okay, he was twisting him, torquing him, and lifting him, and then Zach goes, oh, and you see him wince. And I was like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? This is at the highest level. They don't understand. You don't twist a guy, you don't torque a guy when he has back pain. You take that rotation out. And that's what my exercises do when I'm teaching, is to help take out the rotation, simplify the movement, and get people to feel better. So
I love it. And I think, there's so much terrible advice out there. And one of the things I want to say, for a lot of people, I think wellness and fitness in particular seems very intimidating because, they think I have to go from I've been chair bound for 4 decades. Now I'm going to go run a marathon on the weekend. Like, there's a step or two between there.
right.
But what I'm hearing from you, and I want to go deeper on this because I think it's important. It's not complicated. Like, for the record, I love Pilates, but when I walk into a Pilates studio, those machines terrify me.
Well, it's their learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas what I'm hearing from you is it's simple things, and I don't want to say silver bullet because there is no such thing as an instant fix. There's no magic wand or snap of the fingers in fitness. But it sounds to me like just recognizing and honoring the body as it is, you're building a program or something that people can take away and do at home. Am I oversimplifying, or did I hit close to
No,
the mark?
you're literally right on. During COVID, I actually got really, really busy. I was on Zoom every day, but not with individuals. I was on with groups. I was on with 500 people and teaching and doing things with a group of people. And I could teach grandma or I could teach the pro athlete this one move. Now they're going to go wider with the feet, pro athlete, than grandma, but the movements are the same. We're still taking out rotation. We're getting the joints to move. To explain this to everybody simply, is flexibility is the range of motion in the joint, right? Mobility is the strength of that length that allows you to go to that position. If you don't have the strength, it won't let you get the length. That's why people that say they stretch all the time, but they don't feel more flexible, it's because they don't own that, what is called mobility. Okay. I say to the average person flexibility because they get flexibility. They understand the word, but it's actually the better word to use is mobility. which is a length times strength, which equals the good feeling. But one of the stories I wanted to tell you, that about 3 years ago, my son's 15 now, when he was 12, we finished practice and Bodie goes, "Hey, Papa, can we do a bench press contest with the bar?" And I said, "Okay, sure." So the kids did their set and they got 18. Then the high school kids said, "Hey, we want to do it." And they jumped in. They did 38. Then the college kids jumped in. They did 78. And then they said, "Bob, what can you do?" And when I was my best, when I could bench 315, I could do about 104 with the bar, right? So I'm thinking, I don't bench that much anymore. Oh my God, how many can I do? I don't think I can do 78 because I bench like 250 now. I don't do 315. So I'm like getting nervous, but I'm like, I got to try to beat these kids. And I'm pretty good mentally. I can push myself. So I get on there and I'm nervous. Here we go. 75, 100, 150, 200. I did twice as many as I did when I was stronger. But why is that? This is when I said, oh my God, this program is amazing. I didn't know it was working that well. Now, understand this. When I lifted big weights and I was, working on strength, I was rounded forward like this,
Yeah.
benching. So I felt that right in here, that stiffness in my shoulders where I couldn't extend anymore. And I got to 104, right? This time I was perfectly set, just pumping. And what gave out? My actual triceps gave out. I was actually tired pressing. My shoulders didn't even feel it because they were in a better position. So by doing some of these little movements, I'll show you guys a few of these movements after we're talking for a little bit. So it
I,
makes more sense to you guys. Whenever it's good for you, Jeff, I'll get up and show a few and
yeah.
talk about it more. So it's like, this makes sense because it's so simple. You can literally do this at home right now. Little things that you can do to start feeling better today.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to just say you might as well do it because you can't tease us and then not do it. So,
Okay.
no time like the present. And for the record, everybody listening, they're after some practical things. And I'm just going to point out, I used to go to a gym that was full of bodybuilders, and I cringed because it was never about form. It was always about how many reps did you do? How much did you lift? And it was
Yeah.
like, what are you trying to kill yourself? Like it just like, they'd be these big buff guys with massive muscles and they couldn't bend over to pick up their towel because, my back hurts. So
Yep. Yep.
show away. I'm excited for this. So
Well,
first of
so
all, why don't you talk about what you're standing on right now?
So this is my mat right here. So it basically has boxes and then it has numbers from 1 to 72. And if you go to my website, www.bam-metrics.com, you can see a picture of it. You'll see actually what this mat looks like. And so to simplify this for you, there's an exercise called staggered stance mini band walk. And I was training 39 physical therapists because they use this exercise all the time. So I said to the therapist, "Can I have 3 therapists out here?" So they came on out. And I had them start doing the staggered stance mini band walk. So as they're doing it, I said to the other therapist, "What would you change about their movement?" And they said, "Oh, you should put your feet wider. You should do this." And they started telling the other therapists how to adjust themselves, right? So
Yeah.
what's that going to do for the patient that goes home and is by themselves, right? A patient. They're not going to be in the right position. But when I have my mat, I can take a total beginner, right? So what I did is I took my mat, I threw them on the ground, and then I said, "You do 1 box, you do 2 boxes, and you do 3 boxes." And the girl I told 3 boxes, I had the heaviest band on. So it was the hardest one. I did it on purpose. And then I said, as they started moving, "Now what would you change about their movement?" The 2 ladies over here, they said nothing, but they said, "Hey, you have to move in 1 box." And I said, ding, 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 ding. We're already speaking the language. So for example, if I'm going to teach you the staggered stance mini band walk, I would put a band on my ankles, and then I'm going to walk across the mat like this. This is 1 box. So say, for example, the first week, I had you do this over and back 4 times with 1 box. In the second week, I take you to 2 boxes and we do it over and back, right? Third week, I go to 3 boxes. Boom. That's as wide as I'm going to go. So once you get to 3 boxes, in that fourth week, I'm going to move you up a band and I'm going to start you back over at 1 box. So do you see how you can actually, once I teach you, you can progress this without me? You can work as hard as you want based on, you have a metric to the movement. There's no guesswork. For example, if I'm going to tell you put your feet 40 inches apart, that's 40 inches, right? So this week I can work on this exercise where I put my hand like on the chair. I could do it this way. Say you're not very flexible here, and I could work on my rotation of my upper body, but I'm at a number. So I can increase that number to 42 next week, right? And turn, and then the week later, 44. But you see how I'm slowly progressing my number? It's like slowly progressing bench press with I'm doing 5 sets of 5. Next week, I'm doing 4 sets of 4. It's exact. You know your number. So I'm all about what's your number when you move, right? So, for example, wall windmills is one of my favorite exercises to help the average person take out rotation in your body. When you stand against the wall over here, you're going to notice I can't get my head on the wall, or I can't get my shoulders both on the wall, my calves, my hips. How does it feel when you stand against the wall? Okay, a lot of men can't get their head back on the wall. So I say, don't worry about your head, just let it stay there. A lot of people can't get their fingers wide open and on the wall. So when we're here, we're going to glide the wall side to side, and we're not going to move our arms. We're going to move our upper body torso, okay, which is going to help get that T-spine to open up. Your T-spine is your upper body right here, okay? It's what happens when we sit all day. We get rounded and we put our hands up. We can't get on the wall, right? And then you have the athlete that's this way, and he's too much extended. That's like Will Zalatoris, the golf player I was just talking about.
Yeah.
So when you do this on the wall, you actually feel, can you touch the wall? So I have you do 10 of these, and then we go 1 box wider. We do 10, we go 1 box wider. So you're going to do 10 until you get to your whatever width you can go to, 4 or 5, right? Maybe you're a beginner, you only go to 3 boxes, but you'll do your set of 10 on each side, right? And then you'll come back to the middle and do your last set of 10. So what did this do? This got my posture all opened up. It got my back as I'm exhaling side to side. It's getting my rib cage to stop flaring up. It's going to get that down into neutral and also neutralize my pelvis. So if we neutralize our body, it reduces any of the possibilities of pain. So wall windmills is one of my favorites. The second one I like to do is called the runner stretch, where I use the mat right here. I put my foot at the beginning at 1. If you want to find your number at home and you don't have a mat, just kneel down behind your foot like this. And then look at my back foot. You don't want it down, you want it up, okay? So now when I stand up and straighten my legs out, my number says 34 right there, right? So 34. So the reason the mat's good is my feet are in a line right now, okay? They're in a straight line. So if my feet are in a line, it means my hips are turned this way. I have to pull my hips here and then push my hips back. So I'm feeling that leg really stretch, but my pelvis is neutral, okay? So it's like a towel wringing out, because if my feet were like this, my hips are square. I'm not getting that wringing of the towel, okay? And a lot of you are listening, maybe you've never understood this, but fascia wraps the muscle that goes around from the head all the way to the bottom of our feet. So as we hold this position right here, it's not just stretching my foot, my calf, my hamstring, my low back, my T-spine. It's getting all the way up to my neck if I hold this, okay, for time. So what we do is I do 30 seconds to a minute, and then I switch. So I put my front foot now at 3. My number's 34, so I'm going to go to 37. And I stay right here for 30 seconds, and then I'll switch it again. So I'll slowly move my foot back 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches at a time, but I'm always adjusting 34 in the back compared to the front. Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
Okay. So once you learn that, you have your number, you know your metric, you can do that. You can do this at your desk. Okay. It's super, super simple. Okay. The third one I like is the one I was showing you before, where you spread your feet. Many of you men out there have really tight inner thighs, okay? Super tight. So by opening up those inner thighs, you're going to reduce your back pain and take that tension off the pelvis. Okay. So this is a great, simple little exercise that you can do. And you can just use a chair or something in front of you, or you'll use my blocks. I'll have guys do this where they'll stack the blocks in front of them. So if I go to say 50, the blocks are at 25 right here. Put your hand on here and then you can practice. Can you open up, feel the stretch, open up. And then as you get better, you can go lower and open up, go lower until eventually you guys will get to the ground, right? Where you'll have your hand on the ground and you can open up like this. Okay. So 3 super simple exercises, but very, very powerful in the way of how your body moves, right? This exercise I do at home every night before I go to sleep, okay? This one's very simple. Take the blocks. If you're a beginner, you're gonna put them down on the 6-inch side, okay? I've been doing this a long time, so I'm gonna put them up for me on the 12, and I'm gonna lay down like this, put my arms up, they're even, I'm at a T, and then see my toes right here together, and ankles fall out. So I'm getting a little pelvis rotation, but my upper body's totally relaxing. So just think about this. If I was all day rounded forward, right? Now I'm using the blocks. It's opening up my chest and shoulders and allowing that so I can breathe and go to bed. So I do this before bed every night. I'll lay on the floor, spend 6, 7, 8 minutes in that position, let my body open up, and then I'll do a wall squat. This is the wall squat right here. Reason for the wall squat is to flatten out your lower back and take out any tension in the pelvis. So by pushing from my heels, my low back in the wall, my ankles are in front of my knees, so I can push from there. That's going to take the pressure right off my pelvis. And then my shoulders and hips, they're in a good position. Okay. But do you see how it's repeatable that you guys can do this and you can practice on your own? You can start here. Okay. I have many men that are very round in their back forward this way. This is hard for them to put their hands on the 6-inch. They're feeling that stretch right there. So you can start with that, and then you can build to 10-inch and eventually go to 12-inch like that. But the nice thing is you don't need a trainer to tell you how to do this. You guys can do this and repeat this on your own. You can do the banded walks on the ground back and forth, and you can see that you're progressing week after week to strengthen, because you don't want to just foam roll and stretch.
Yeah.
You have to strengthen once you have good movement, right? Because it's like typing code on a computer, okay? If you type all your code out and you don't push enter, it doesn't become code, right? You have to eventually push enter and lock it in. So the same thing is for your body. If you want to feel great, you foam roll, you do your movement, and then you strengthen it with the bands or a wall squat or an exercise that's going to strengthen and hold that position better, which gets you more flexible. So those are the mobility simplified exercises. My two favorite ones for strength are using the medicine ball push-ups. This is my favorite. Even if you're a total beginner, this is a great one. Because my mat has the boxes on here, I can have you start on your knees, okay? Start with your hand wide. This is the one I was telling you the pros had trouble with.
Yeah.
Do a push-up, go to the other side, push up. And then you see how I move in one box? I move in one box. I move in one box. Move in one box. And then we don't do these boxes right here. We do the ball. So that's 7 push-ups. Now, the key about this exercise isn't the push-up. It's actually core strength. One of my mentors, Don Chu, who retired this year, he's like 81, 82 now. I said, Don, why is this working so well? Like, why am I feeling so strong?
Yeah.
We talked it out for a while, and he said, because you're getting tremendous core strength. So for even a beginner, I start them on their knees and get you used to using the ball, because the ball moves a little bit, which is tightening your rotator cuff. Every time you go out and plank back to the ball, you're using your core to get there. Does that make sense?
It
So it's not
does.
just about the push up. Okay. So for my beginners, I have you do 7 and then rest for a minute. 7 from inside out. So we'll start from here and we'll move out, going out, second set. Third set, you'll go from outside in. And I have them do 6 sets of 7 with a 1 minute break. That's how I start those people until they build up. And then when they get good at it and they get to 14, then I'll have them do 14, 7, 7, as many as you can. If you can do 20, I have you change that 14 number, 14, 14, 7, as many as you can. Progress to 20, then we go 14, 14, 14, as many as you can. And you see how you can slowly progress that? So
Yeah.
you can do this yourself. So if I get to 21, right? 21, 14, 14, and I go 20, that means I'm going to go 21, 21, 14, whatever number I do on that last one. But when I get to those numbers, when I get to 14, I take a 90-second break. When you get to 28, I give you 2 minutes. Okay. My son during COVID did 28 2-minute rest, 28 2-minute rest, 28 56. It's the record. I've never had anyone beat it. And he was at the time he was 13.
Wow. And I
So
think, Bobby, as I'm looking at this, one of the things I truly appreciate, and I've had my share of injuries and things, and I found physio to be a challenge because I go to a place and I would do things on their schedule and on their equipment. And first of all, they had to train me how to use the equipment, and then they had to make sure I was using it correctly. But then they'd say, okay, go home and do something like this. And it was like, okay. What I love, there's nothing you just showed us. Like, I got to be really blunt. As someone who's been to physio, everything you just showed me is so simple. I could do it at home, but it's also, I can see the nuances of it where, it's correcting, the bad posture. It's optimizing the movement. It's almost like the way you demonstrated, it would be hard to do it wrong.
right, that's all the tools are for. It just helps you organize where you are. Even when you do the mini bands and you put them on your knees and feet and you do double bands on your knees, you know where to place your feet. Like start your feet at 8 inches apart. And
Yeah.
as you get stronger, you can put them at 10 inches apart because it's harder when your feet are a little bit wider. But you guys can do this and you don't need a babysitter there, a trainer to say, hey, widen your feet. Hey, to change the band. You'll know when to change the band. You can actually feel it. You can work it yourself. That's been one of the greatest things about this is the efficiency is better. And if there's anyone listening out there that knows any contacts with Kaiser, I've been trying to deal with those guys for a long time, and it's just the inefficiencies of the patients going home and doing their exercise is crazy. And we could fix that. We can make that a lot better if they would actually listen to what I'm saying and take it in and get rid of the ego. There's too
Yeah.
many big egos that just don't want to be told they're doing it wrong, and it has nothing to do with them. It's the patient.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's this is good transition. We'll talk about strategic relationships. The reality is, as we're meeting people and having conversations, there's a lot of things that people are doing wrong that, only it takes a tiny little bit of tweaking to optimize and fix. I mean, one of our past guests, and again, I'll make an introduction. We had somebody on who represents Power Plate,
mm-hmm.
and again, similar to you, that they run into Power Plate's this way of optimizing and helping people do their workouts and get more effectiveness out of their physio. And unfortunately, I think a lot of physiotherapists are set in their ways. And it's
Yep.
like, again, I want to say, and I'm going to echo what you just said, it's not about you, it is about your client. the
Right.
patient, and helping them get to the results they need. So um, that's going to be a big call to action. Now, I really do appreciate you showing me those things because, you know, I know way too many people who are desk jockeys and they just give up because, first of all, I've been to yoga classes where the instructor was, if lucky, beyond their teen years. And I'm like, no offense, but I'm not going to learn how to bend or stretch from a teenager because there's a point where my old bones and joints go, no, no, no. But that's the reality is, if we're in those later years, we're 40 something and, we've run our businesses and we're a little more mature. We also need to take a more mature approach to our wellness. And, going into the gym and seeing how much you can lift and how hard and how heavy is not a wise choice for somebody who's on the other side of 50.
Yeah, and that's the thing we were saying is people go to the gym, think they're going to start to get fit and get their wellness going, but they're strengthening dysfunction. And so you don't want to go to the gym and start just strengthening your body, because if you're not functional, you're literally strengthening dysfunction, and dysfunction later leads to pain. And
Yeah.
that's like a circle, right? So the exercise I just showed you, like I said, the windmills, the runner stretch, and lay on the blocks, those three, you guys can do perfectly, right? But you can monitor, can you get your arms on the wall? Are your arms straight? Is your neck and shoulders against the wall? How does it feel? You guys are now your own coach. You actually can do this. And seeing that improvement over time, laying on the blocks before you go to bed to open up your chest and shoulders. So tomorrow, when you work on the computer all day, at least you're giving it a chance to open, to say, hey, remember that position, remember that position, and you're just giving it that reminder. It's key. So that
Yeah.
way you can go on the weekends and enjoy what you like to do, whatever that is. I think it's funny that golf is the old man's game, because you're trying to swing a club at 100 miles an hour plus on a dysfunctional body, and then you wonder why you're in pain. I mean, come on. It'd be easier to go walking or something. It's just like crazy that they think, oh, I'm retired now, let's go play some golf, and I'm really dysfunctional. I have no idea why my back's killing me. So I think it's pretty funny.
And I find that amusing that, yeah, if you think about it, a lot of the cliche is that, people they retire and then they take up golf. And you think about it, most of those people never learned how to move properly in their lives. And it almost seems so obvious, but watching somebody who's an athlete, um, there is no wasted movement. There is no, we're not going to go against the body's natural dynamics. Yet when you think about golf, it's all about how efficient your swing can be. It's all about how effective your angles are. Like it's very much knowing how to move properly, and yet most people just go out and they start hacking away and they hope that they'll figure it out from there.
Well, one of the things I find fascinating is I work in the PGA fitness van, so my tools are in there, and so I'll go in there and chat with the guys and hang out. And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable how many guys come into the therapy van saying, "Hey, my back hurts." These are the highest level players of golf out there.
Yeah.
I'm talking 60, 70% of them come in saying, my back hurts, my back hurts, my
Yeah.
back hurts. And I find that unbelievable. At that level, they still don't understand how to take out the rotation, reduce that dysfunctional movement that you have, and quit strengthening your dysfunction. They're
Yeah.
still doing it on the PGA fitness level. Baseball, no idea what they're doing. It's insane to me. And that's why I've been trying to go on these podcasts and share with people and say, hey, who do you know that's high level that we could get to? Because I'm not looking for more clients or more people. I want to share the equipment, and I want people to start using it and sharing it with their friends, and then get it to a Kaiser where they go, dude, we could help thousands of people do their therapy properly and not
Yeah.
be lost and take 16 weeks and still not get a result they might be able to get a result in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they have a lifelong fitness regimen of simple exercise. For example, maybe you do windmills today in the morning, you come home and you lay on the blocks tonight. You did 2 things. Okay. You did that Monday. Tuesday, you did the runner stretch and you did the bretzel with the blocks. It's another exercise. That's Tuesday. So you had 2 exercises, one in the morning, one at night, one in the morning, one at night. And at the end of the week, you did 14 exercises. Okay. And then see how you feel a month later, right? Come back into Kaiser and we say, hey, Jeff, you've been doing a great job. How's your back feeling? You go, it's feeling better, but it kind of bites me and hurts at this moment. And I talk to you and I say, hey, add this one exercise to your regimen. I'm going to give you some bands. Okay.
Yeah.
Do this on Monday, do this on Tuesday, do this on Wednesday. And all of a sudden you come back 3 months later and Jeff, how you feeling now? Dude, I got a great program. I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping better. I'm just enjoying my weekends more now. I'm not stressed after work because I can actually go do things after work. I'm not in pain. Hey, we win. That's where I know we can go 100% if
Well,
I could just get to the right people.
you and I are going to be on a mission together because here's the thing. I've been a patient of physio, and I'm going to be really blunt, and I love physio. They do amazing things, but a lot of the time it felt like it was more about job security for them. It was I was in a car accident and they kind of rubbed their hands and went, oh boy, as long as we can keep Jeff coming, we can keep making money. And the reality is I didn't personally pay for physiotherapy. I was paying to not have to go to therapy. And at some point, I made the decision the physiotherapy wasn't worth my time because
Mhm.
months and months and months later, I was still in pain. I was still going through. And I only improved, in that 30 minutes where I was actively at physio. And then, I live up in Canada. We have cold winters. The minute you get out into that cold air, all those muscles tighten up and you're like, oh crap, it
Right.
hurts again. Or, my other
Uh-huh.
favorite is you slip on ice. Um, what I like about what you and I just talked about is this gets people, at their home where, arguably I would say most of us have the most quote unquote free time, but it's also, as you said, when you get up in the morning, before bed at night, it's a habit you can integrate into life that actually gives you time, because I can tell from experience when have a back problem or a back injury, it takes time to be in that much pain. Everything's
Yep.
slower. So I love the fact that your focus is on giving people the quick wins, and more importantly, I'm going to say the long lasting wins.
Yeah, you're right on. It's like you don't have to make this complicated, but it's kind of like I always say, it's like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth once a week, every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people brush morning and night. So treat your body the same way, and all of a sudden you're going to start feeling better. And it's not about becoming that fitness person. I am not about that anymore. I'm the 52-year-old guy that has a busy life, work, family, kids, all of that. I get it. So it's fitting it into your lifestyle. And that's why I talk about the one in the morning, the one at night, maybe one at your desk before you go to lunch, those sort of things. That's really what I teach my executives and my corporate wellness programs. I set up stuff at the businesses where they literally have a mat on the floor against the wall. When you go to the bathroom on the way back, do one set of windmills. Put your feet as wide as you can, do a set of 20, and then go back to your desk. So you did your windmills for the day. Fantastic. Before you leave work, do the runner stretch at your desk, right? You did 2 good things at work to open you up. When you get out of your car and you get home, put your hands on top of the car, push your hips back and feel that back and shoulders stretch after that long drive home, 45 minutes or whatever, right? To open up your chest and shoulders, and then go in and see the family, right? You got to
I
learn to do these things while it's in your lifestyle. I call it a lifestyle, not a workout, not a, it's
yeah.
simplify it. Simplify it. I
Well,
get it.
and it's when you say it, it's so painfully obvious, and I'm just laughing because it's like I get out of the car and I'm like, oh, that hurts, and oh, that hurts, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just hobble along, and it's like, wait a minute, what if I just like you said, in that moment, you're gonna have some pain, so why not implement the stretch that counters it? Like,
And once you feel it, you'll actually crave it because you won't want to feel the way you do now. You start to understand the stiffness. A lot of you out there don't understand the stiffness you're dealing with, right? It's like the story I told you with the bench press. I didn't know I was that functional till I did it. And it was
yeah,
like eye opening to go, holy shit, this is really working. This is really working. Because I don't do the gym. I don't do the 2 hours, hour and a half. I do all of my stuff here at my house, right here. I basically do my blocks and stuff while I watch TV. I fit my exercise into TV. So that's how I do it. I just lay there on a commercial. I pick a different exercise, and then if I did it today, tomorrow I won't do those. I'll do different ones. You know, so
well,
fit it into what works for you.
you amuse me intensely, Bob, and that is a good thing because most people say, they want to fight human nature, and like there is that phrase, the workout, and you got to get up and be at the gym at 4 a.m. Um, Honestly, I gave up all illusions of, being in the gym at 4 a.m. when I had kids. And I love the fact, just as an example, I take my son to he's on a basketball team and I go to practice. Instead of sitting there, I see a lot of the parents, they're sitting there with their phones and they're doing this. I could be doing the stretches and exercises you showed me, and yeah, somebody's going to look at me and go, "What a weirdo!"
Yeah,
But
that's a funny thing. My son says that all the time. Literally on Friday, he had a football game. I was on the sidelines because I'm doing the chain gang, and there was a break. So I got down on the ground and did a few stretches, right, sitting there. And he's all, Papa, really? You really have to do that? And it was like, well, I just know it feels better when I'm going to get back up and move the chains at the football game, that sort of
yeah,
thing. So
well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm laughing here because usually I literally every time I go, I come back the next day complaining because they have those little steel benches that no
yeah,
human being should ever sit on. And
yeah.
I always wake up the next day going, God, my back really hurts today. And I joke that, I feel like I was the one playing basketball, not my son. Um, but that's I wouldn't trade that time for anything in the world. But instead of standing there or sitting there thinking, man, my back's going to hurt tomorrow, I can actually do something about it. So,
Yeah, and a simple stretch that you could do while you're there on that bench you just said, put your foot up on the bench like this, okay? This hips back, kind of lean into it, and then reach tall as you lean into it. And you're going to feel that hip flexor, lats, all that open up as you lean into it while you're just standing there. Just change feet, pop up the other one, lean into it. And then, like I said, then spread your feet wide and put your hands on there and just open up your inner thighs. This is going to help you while you're watching your son play basketball. You're just kind of opening up your inner thighs, right? And then you could go to the side of the thing and then just pop up your foot and stand there and feel that stretch. So you just worked your whole pelvis. It's going to loosen it up. And once you work it all, then go do that wall squat I just said right here.
yeah.
Push the low back in the wall. You're watching them practice, but you're doing stuff to actually help yourself. So push this in, hold this for like 30 seconds to a minute, get up, go back over, do this one again. Put the foot there, open it up, lean into it and reach. You feel that, go wide, you feel that, pop the foot up, you feel that quad stretch, and then go strengthen it again. But then you got a little routine right there while you're watching your son that when you leave, I promise you're going to feel better. You're going to feel looser. There's not even a question.
Well, and I'm just tying that back in. I'm looking at my house and, some of the things we do, and while we're watching TV and, Sunday nights or movie nights, these are all little things we could implement into that. And, my wife also works a desk job. So she's always got that chronic back pain. And What I love is these are all things. Now, I could talk to you all day, and for the record, I think I'm going to start a fan club for you because I think you're doing wonderful things for the world. How can people listening to this, and I'm going to break my rule. I'm going to release this as a video because you gave us so many great things. But how can people who are listening to or watching this, how can they engage with you, and how can they get in touch with you?
Well, BAM Metrics, BAM, and then dash metrics.com. That's my website. And then you can follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn, Bobby Aldridge on LinkedIn, BAM Metrics. And then, like I said, I always like to help out. If somebody really has a question, reach out and get a hold of me. I mean, I'll help you get on the right path of feeling better. I usually get the worst case scenarios. I'll even give you guys my phone number to call me, the 415-601-3364. Text me, ask me a simple question. I'll get back to you, because it's like, once you get the tools, I have the videos to send to you that you can follow it at home, take your time, watch one video and do it. And like I said, reach out to me, ask a question, because in your area, I'm sure there's somebody that you could share it with that would really appreciate changing how they feel. And that's the thing, is a lot of you guys don't even know that you are dysfunctional. So you're going to the gym, you're trying to do the right stuff, you're trying to lose weight, you start running, and then you say, God, my knee's killing me.
Yeah.
All these things can be taken care of. 8 out of 10 of them with my videos, you will start feeling better. If something hurts when you start doing something, that's just telling you're dysfunctional at this time. That doesn't mean forever,
Yeah.
okay? And you need the right motion, okay? Motion is lotion, but proper motion is the lotion you need, right? You can't just go to the gym, strengthen, and then go, hey, you're dysfunctionally strong, but your back hurts now when you try to go play golf or whatever you're trying to do. Go play soccer and my knee hurts.
Love
So,
it.
yeah, I mean, I hope you guys listening give it a try, and the videos come with it. So you'll get the exclusive videos that once you order the mat blocks and the bands, you really have everything you need. If you want to pick up a medicine ball or one of those stability balls, that red ball back there, again, those are awesome to use. This is one of my favorite exercises right here. I use the stability ball, this one, for this, okay? For any of you guys at a home office or at an office, sit on the ball when you work, okay? Why? Because this ball's moving around, so your hips aren't going to get locked up from the chair, okay? The reason I'm not using the ball right now is because I don't want it to roll out of my garage when I get off of it. So I'm sitting on the chair on the podcast so I don't lose my ball, because I have cactus across the street that I've popped these many times because it rolls across the street and pops. So anyway, that's why I'm not sitting on my ball. But normally I'm always using my ball if I'm not on a podcast, okay? So this is one of my favorites. So I was telling you guys, spread your feet wide. So I'll like go to 50 inches and then I'm going to reach like this. This feels so good on my sides going up right here as I reach, just about 10 seconds. And then I roll it to the other side and I reach. And after 10 seconds, I go 2 inches wider. So eventually I get out to like 60, right? So my feet are pretty wide. I'm feeling a good stretch. And I'll go back and forth here, okay? Just 10 seconds. Just let it open up. And then when I finish, I'll put my hands out in front like this and just let it drop down. And then I'll go to my knees like this and drop down. See my back flattening out, getting that lats in my head, my neck. Oh, my neck's just relaxing right now. That is so good. That is so good for your neck, that little move I just did. But I feel so much looser I did that for like 1 minute, right? So for you guys, sit on a ball, like your wife, get a ball if they'll allow you at work. Make sure the ball is tall enough that your hips are above your knees. This ball's a little short for me. If I was going to sit on it for 8 hours, you'd want it up a little higher, okay? Because otherwise your hips are going to get a little tight in here, okay? From the position down.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this thing. I think about 15 years ago, Shape Magazine did a study. They gave women a ball to sit on. I think it was 6 weeks or 12 weeks. I can't remember how long. They did nothing else. They didn't change diets. They didn't change anything. They just sat on the ball. The average woman lost 4 to 6 inches on their waist
Wow.
sitting on a ball. Okay. Why is that? Because the ball's moving like this. You don't see it because I'm sitting here and it looks like I'm not moving,
Yeah.
but I am moving. And my core's engaged trying to control the ball so I don't fall off of it. Okay. So sitting on a ball is an awesome idea. And this is another reason why. At the office, I get off the call, like I finish the podcast, and I just lay back like this and just open up. Just lay here, open up, give your back a rest, give your neck a rest, let it open up, and then pop back up, go back to the call, do what you need to do. But your T spine is opening up. You're going to breathe better. You're going to feel better. All you guys that are in the office having back pain, it's going to dissipate. It's going to go away.
Well,
It's going to help.
I'm just gonna say I'm loving this, and for the record, if you're up for it, I'll schedule another one because I think we could keep going all day. But I just want to say, for on behalf of my listeners and viewers, this has been an unexpected treat. I always ask for practical advice, and you've literally just said, here's, I don't know, 10 ways to solve back pain. So you are an amazing rock star. I really, really appreciate your time today, Bobby. And I want to thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for having me on and let me share the ideas and stuff. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we invite you to either click the link below or scan the QR code to register and listen to other episodes of our podcast. Or if you think your business or you would be a great guest to be on our show, we're always looking for experts in one of the 9 elements of holistic wellness. We'd love to have you. You can either click the link below or you can scan the QR code and complete our speaker intake form. Thank you, and to your wellness.